Welcome to Founders and Fortitude. I'm your host, Audrie Dollins. This is a show where we dive into the world of entrepreneurship and the fortitude that keeps us going with the twists and turns and the wonderful people and teams that support us. Let's get into it. Friends, I am so excited to have our guests on today, Matt and Samantha Reynolds. Samantha has played such a key role in helping me begin 80 Media Group. Samantha was a model, a cycle bar instructor, and she is the foundation of her family, a mother of two, and a supporting wife of a Major League Baseball player, now retired, Matt Reynolds. Matt has been known to play with the New York Mets, Washington Nationals, and had experiences with many other teams. So let's give them a big welcome and get into it. Samantha, you and I met because you were modeling for Landry Kate.
Yes.
An online boutique as well as they're located in McKinney. And we just, I feel like, I don't know if it was, because I'm old, so I don't know if I know say like.
Mutual. It was
Yeah. But your sense of humor, I think we both like kind of led into like, yeah, this shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like we didn't take ourselves too serious.
Yeah.
And then we were either really cold shooting,
Yes.
really hot, and then just the funny times that we had.
I feel like I thrived with you as the photographer because I borderline felt uncomfortable in front of the camera at first because Landry Kate was like, I really didn't model for anyone before that. And so you brought humor. And so I was like, oh, I can do a pose like this or a pose like this because you're just like cracking jokes. And I don't know, you made it so that I didn't care as much about like what I was doing. And I feel like that's, I don't know, we connected that way because it was just easy.
Yeah, it was fun. And we had a really good time. And then just watching the dynamics of you two, and you were wanting to support him as well as kind of do things for yourself.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of, and not, I think you said, I don't want to, not that you would bug him because you're not think. But you're like, I want to do something for myself, but I don't want it to overtake where I can't support him.
Yeah.
And you were doing that. And then we kind of started talking about 80 Media Group. And that's why like you're so special to me because you helped me. I learned so much from you. And I think that's why I love social media too, is because you can learn from people no matter their age.
For sure.
You guys work out, your health, you impacted me with your health of like pushing through, waking up every day. And I'll see I'll be literally like in my slobby pajamas and you're like, didn't want to do it, but doing it. And I'm like, Sam can do this. I know I can do this. And so I love that about you. And you were an instructor at Cycle Bar. Like, that's epic. Like,
Feels like so long.
I would break an ankle. I've been scared. Like, I wanted to do it, but I've hit the age where, like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Of my body, of like,
Well, now I feel like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I could go back and teach it again.
but you're doing great things now.
Yeah.
And like all the workout and I see you do it. Is it bad when I'm watching you and not working out?
No, I mean, I feel like I post about it to like hold myself accountable of like, because I think it's such a compliment when people are like, I do see how much you're working out. And I'm like, that makes me feel good that like it's being recognized, I guess, that like I am showing up every day or 5 times a week. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what drives me, which seems silly, but I'm like, I don't know. I still love social media. And so I feel like that's kind of where I take it sometimes is the fitness and the working out and the recipes and stuff like that. So.
And that's what connected us so well.
Yeah.
And you helped 80 Media Group so much because not a lot of people understood and still don't understand being online.
Yeah.
And being an influencer and a creator or someone that connects with substance.
Yeah.
And it's not posting for, sometimes it's like, oh, they just want attention. No, it's, if you look at it, it's kind of your own mental state on how you approach social media.
Yeah.
And I look at that as you motivate me. I never look at social media. I mean, of course, I want it all with, financial freedoms of the web. That's why I drive myself. But I look at that to go like, oh, she's inspiring me. Oh, you're inspiring me. And then seeing all of that, I'm like, oh, okay, I can believe in myself too. And if she didn't want to show up. Oh, I damn sure don't want to show up. So I'm going to show up. And I get so proud when I do, and, all of that. And so with you doing that, we kind of made this connection, and you knew how to do all of these processes that a lot of people didn't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so we got to work, and we still work with clients that you helped us. We still work with the recruiter mom, Tiffany Black, all those ones that we started with. And you helped kick that off.
But you showed me so much too. Like, I feel like I know things about social media that I didn't know before you. And so now I feel like if I ever wanted to really get back into it again, I do have the tools and the things. Like, literally walking in here, I can see girls working, and I'm like, oh, I did that. A long time ago, but I did that. Yeah, I don't know. I've learned a lot from you too.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
And we shed some tears.
Yeah.
And some laughs.
We did.
And with that, you were able to travel with Matt. And
yes.
Matt, tell us a little bit about as you both were athletes. And I think it's so important, and I was talking to you about this when y'all both walked in, the parallels of, professional athletes and athletes, you were an athlete, alongside business, because I love sports. I was not a professional athlete, but I loved sports growing up, and the drive and the things that the coaches instilled in me, that they were pulling out greatness. I didn't really like them. I didn't particularly just love my coaches, but they instilled hard work and to expect out of myself. That I see that in both of you. So when I met you and I heard about you and just how you supported and how you supported each other with sports, that parallel in your relationship, is that where you said being a baseball player is business?
Yeah, I mean, it
is a business.
You look at college sports now. It's with the NIL. It's a business. You're a brand.
Yeah.
Yourself is a brand. So, it's sports and business are correlated perfectly.
And with you and both of you, so when you started, kind of give me a little bio about yourself when you went into the draft and was going to become a Major League Baseball player. Were you two together at that time?
No.
Okay.
No, she wasn't around. She wasn't ready for that life. No, I was at Arkansas. We had never met at Arkansas, and I was drafted.
But you both went to Arkansas.
Yes, but
That's
didn't
insane.
until after he was drafted.
Okay.
Yeah, she was 2 years younger than me, right?
2 years.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do the math.
And how did that make you feel? Did you always envision being a baseball player?
No, I honestly didn't. Out of high school, I wanted to play basketball.
Oh, cool. I love basketball.
Yeah, so I had offers to play Division I basketball, and I was seriously considering it. And then that was my junior year of high school, and then I kind of realized that my path would be a little bit better if I went on and did baseball. I started seeing getting bigger schools recruiting me for baseball instead of basketball, and so I decided to go that path. I loved them both the same, but basketball kind of had a special spot in my heart. And then went to Arkansas, played there for 3 years. Got drafted in 2012 after my junior year in the second round. Was with the Mets until 2018. I got traded to the Nationals. Was with them for 2 years, then on to the Royals, then White Sox, and then back to the Mets, and then Reds for 2 years, and then Japan the following year. So
I was gonna say, I can't wait to talk about
the amount of cities we've lived in is,
But that's so cool, though.
It is.
Would you rather do anything else? Now that you're both on,
there's so many cities that we lived in. Like one of my favorite places to play in was in Charlotte. I love Charlotte, North Carolina. It was beautiful. She was pregnant. We lived right downtown. I rode my scooter to the field. It was great for a AAA team. That was awesome. Yeah. It was so much fun.
That's so cool. I know that you and I would talk when y'all were there. You would tell me about that.
That's when I was very pregnant and hormonal. Yeah. So I don't know if our conversations are great, but
big girl.
I was like, I don't put that up. I guess I would, emotionally and physically.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
But yeah.
So tell me about the conversation of Japan. I am in awe of it. I love it. I text Sam, and I know that it took a lot. what made you go like, okay, we're doing this? Like when it came to the table, what was your first thought?
Well, so 2023, I was having a really good year in AAA. Really didn't get an opportunity in the big leagues other than like a couple weeks. And I had been talking to my agent that I wanted to pursue overseas, whether it's Korea or Japan. And he was pretty much telling me like teams are interested. We just won't really know anything till the end of the year.
Did you ask Sam before you said that? Like, I'm totally getting personal. Like, did you know he wanted to do that?
Yeah.
We had talked.
Okay.
I told her I was kind of at the point in my career where it was like the writing's on the wall over here. Like I'm going to be kind of a bench guy in the big leagues, which is fine. But I wanted to play and I wanted to make as much money as possible before my career was over. And going over to overseas, you can make some good money as an American player. So I was talking to her about it and I was like, would you actually do this with, 2 kids? Because you...
I had Hallie.
Yeah, you're pregnant with Hallie.
Very pregnant, yeah.
And I was like, would you want to do this the next year? And she was like, well, the money's right. Like, we kind of got to. And I was like, all right. So at the end of the year, we had like a couple weeks left in the season. And my agent texted me and was like, hey, the Hiroshima Carp are going to make you an offer in the off season. And I was like, that's awesome. And the day I became a free agent, they had an offer on the table. We negotiated for like a week. And then talked to her parents because her mom was out there with us the whole time we were there. And
Your mom's the sweetest thing.
You would not have survived. It would have been a totally different experience.
And now, was she retired at the time? I remember thinking that. I'm so nosy.
No, you know it.
But because she's such a fabulous human being. Was she retired at the time?
She was not in busy season, so she basically ends busy season in December, like after Christmas, and she works like probably 3-4 times a week up until like decorating people's homes for Christmas and stuff. And so once Christmas was over, she was like, heck yeah, I'll go.
So your mom is my vision of why I work so hard. So I want to be that for my kids.
Yeah.
So when I saw that for your mom,
Yeah.
like with my son and my daughter, like when you said in 10 years, that is my vision. I want financial freedom so that when my kids decide to go to this time in their lives, that's what I'll do. I'll move anywhere. Jason and I talk about all the time, like, I want to get an apartment for 6 months here, and then if Scarlett's here, we'll get one there, and we'll just have a little storage for that is the vision for me. I want to be free to support them. And when I saw that your mom was able to join you guys, I was like, that is such a blessing.
Yeah. It would have seriously not.
It would have been.
I don't know if it would have been possible.
Yeah, it would have been a lot harder, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That was so neat. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Your mom actually told me that you got hurt. I knew from your mom. Your mom, when you would come because I knew from your mom that you were hurt and coming back. Yeah. And she said, "Have you talked to Sam?" And I was like, "No." And then I was like, "Oh, they're coming back. It was like that. Oh, I'm sorry you got hurt, but I was also like, oh, but they're coming back."
Yeah, it was like kind of a bittersweet deal because it didn't go how we had planned and how I envisioned, but it was nice to come home and, get into our new house and do my rehab here and see family that, I didn't see anybody for 7, 8 months. So it was tough.
And you can't talk to anyone. So like the hours are so different there. Like if you want to talk to someone, you're talking to them at like, it was our witching hour with the kids would be like morning time, right?
So it'd be
with
weird.
Yeah, it was like completely switch.
Yeah.
So like you really had to make an effort.
Yeah. So I would wake up when she was here. I would wake up in the morning, and it would just be complete chaos because she's like trying to get the kids like kind of ready for bed. It's kind of that hour where they're going crazy, and I'm like just waking up and like I can't help at all. So it was weird.
Yeah. And then talk about the atmosphere in Japan, like the players, the coaches. What was that like?
Honestly, I love the players, love the coaches. They were awesome. Everyone was super welcoming. The atmosphere in the games, it's not even remotely close to a big league game here. There, it's like they have the home and the away team each have bands. So there's like
It's cool.
there's songs going on all day or all game. Like when I come up to bat, they would have like a special song for me playing pretty much the whole at bat.
Oh, like the whole at bat, like when you're they are just
Yeah, and like
So-
all the fans know. I mean, there's 50,000 fans, and they all have these little bats that they clank together.
Yeah.
And like they're going to the beat of the song, so like the whole stadium's doing that, which is awesome. So it's
Wow.
like I got to play in two of our regular season games before my shoulder. I had to have surgery on my shoulder, and I mean, they were wild. They were so much fun. I wish she got to experience me playing in them because, I mean, it was great. He would have loved it. He would have gone crazy.
We've been to one game.
Yeah.
There, and I like feel like that's the one part that I wish we could have at least been there for like even like 2 weeks of just seeing games and going to them and seeing him playing in them, because I felt like we just missed out on that part, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah, she didn't get to see all the cities that I got to see. I got to explore Japan a little bit in preseason and everything. So
What's the life like there? Like, how are the people? And you were talking about the food. Like, how's the food?
I mean, Wagyu beef every day.
Oh, that's
And groceries, like here we go to Kroger and we spend $300 for like 4 days. There we would spend like $75 and we'd have food for like 10 days.
yeah, like
okay. So moving to Japan.
literally life was.
It was a reality check coming back, like, and looking at our credit card bill. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need.
So before we left, he was like, "This is the cheapest our credit card bill has
Ever been.
Yeah.
And we were out. Me and my mom were out every day with the kids, like buying things.
Oh, I love the adventures y'all would go on. Because I would watch and the neat, like the play areas that they would have set up for the kids. That's crazy.
Yeah, those were in. Me and my mom and the kids did venture out. We went to Osaka and Kyoto, and like had to take the bullet train and do all the things. But I was gonna say that the shopping there is amazing because you don't pay like Amazon. You're buying a sweater or something from China or Japan, and you're paying for like the fees to get it over. And so when you're there, you're paying like I bought jeans for like $12.
Yeah.
That I would pay here for like
40.
50 bucks. And so people are like, where'd you get that? I'm like, Japan. Like, I want a flight to go back just to shop.
It would save us money.
Her mom had to buy 2 new suitcases because she bought so many clothes they had.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I love that. It was, well, and I called Sam too because my son was going into the military at the same time. And they were telling him the options. One was Japan.
Yeah.
And it gave me comfort. I'm like, I don't know. As a mom, when you're sending your kids off, I'm like, okay, if he goes to Japan, I know Matt and Sam are there. Like, y'all are going to save him or something.
Like, even knowing
But,
like person that like knows.
Yeah.
Was it Okinawa?
He didn't go. He ended up, he's so disappointed. He wanted to go out of the country and it's put in so many times. But he ended up in North Carolina near Raleigh. So
yeah.
he's there. But when he told me where he could go, and he keeps doing it, he keeps putting in, he wants to go to England or he wants to go. And I'm just like, no, God says you stay here and in us. But now if I'm like, it's cheaper in Japan, go, my boy.
Yeah.
But
It was so cool.
Yeah.
And the people were amazing. Like I would talk to strangers on the street with my phone. Obviously I can't speak Japanese, but like you just talk to them and they'll do anything for you. Like because we stuck out too. So people would be like, and Hiroshima's so small that like tourists weren't as, I don't feel like there were a ton of tourists.
Nah. I mean, there's a good amount by the bombing memorial, but
Yeah. But like other than that, if they see us walking down the street, they'd be like, what can I help you?
they were like, dang, and cuts. Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. So with baseball season, baseball life coming to a close, how does it feel?
Awesome. Honestly, I'm excited about the next chapter. It's nice to, be in our house year round and, kind of live a normal life and not have to. I always tell Sam, this is like the first Thanksgiving and Christmas that I can actually enjoy because normally it's like once Christmas is over, it's like go time. Like I leave in a month. I can't miss workouts. I'm hitting every day. So it's kind of nice I can sit back and have a few extra cocktails. So.
Any coach, is he going to do broadcasting?
As of right now, no. My agent asked me if I'd be interested in both those, and I kind of point blank told him no.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much living the same lifestyle, and I don't want to do that. I want to be home, and I want to be like Grady's going to be playing t-ball and basketball and football here in 3 or 4 years. So it's like I want to be a part of that. We're done having kids, so I only have one son. So it's like I want to make sure that I experience it all, and I'm there for him, just like my dad was. So that's not even an option really right now, unless it gets to a point where I'm like, all right, I need a job. Like I need to make some money. Then we'll talk. But I have a couple opportunities that would keep me here year round. So right now I'm just honestly enjoying being home, and then at the start of the new year, that's when I'll start figuring out what I'm gonna do.
Plan to do or
I think we've had lots of conversations of like, well, what's your interests? Or I don't know, it's just different when like he hasn't been in the real world. He's been in a totally different world for
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you like to do? Like this is a totally different
I'm gonna be a DJ.
Right now I'm making up for lost time too of like he missed the first how many months of Hallie's life?
Yeah, I mean when she got to Japan, I barely even knew my daughter, which was how old was she then? She
was born in November and
she was
got
like
her in March.
6 months.
January, March. So she was 4 months.
Yeah, I knew her for a month and a half of her 6-month life.
And then with Grady, it was like we saw him, but we were.
Well, he wasn't even like speaking sentences when I left, and then he gets there and he's like talking to me. I'm like,
so just crazy. And not even that. I feel like before even Japan, like baseball life, there's lots of visiting, but like we weren't there full time, especially when Hallie was born. And I don't know, it was just, or when I was pregnant with Hallie. But I feel like now that he's home, it's like we actually get to enjoy being parents together instead of, which came with an adjustment in itself because it was like I was doing all of the parenting when he was completely gone.
Yeah, it wasn't bad thing.
But do you feel like you're like, do you have do you feel like you run a tighter ship? I feel like that. I think my kids learned respect and a kind of a type of routine or a chill routine. So like, I would say it's some different things. Like we would run a tight ship, but then like when that one song came on, I would put the kids on the on the table and we'd be dancing around the table. Yeah. Whereas like if dad was there, maybe we wouldn't be dancing on the coffee table or something. Or sleeping together as much. Like we would have little cuddle times that
I feel like I actually was the opposite, which is so weird to say because it was like I had to have routine and like everything had to be at, okay, dinner starts at this time. I bathe Hallie while Grady eats dinner. And like, I feel like now because he's home, he can do things with Grady or with Hallie while I do something with the opposite kid. And I'm more relaxed now that he's home. And
yeah, I'm basically a stay-at-home dad / like maid right now. That's all I do.
You do all the dishes.
All right, Debbie. I don't ever want to see a dish again.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's how Jason is. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like he'll plan things. He's making things for Scarlett's 16th birthday. We're having a pre-ski 16. And so he's making like all these pros with fake snow. And so he's like the stay-at-home dad, mom. Yeah, all the things. Yeah. And then he's like, this is what we're having for dinner and we're going to see the Christmas lights. I'm like, perfect. I love that. So it's great. Yeah. Like,
and it gets him he steps into a role. I feel like I've seen him step into a different role than when he was basketball because it was like, that's his job. He's bringing home the money. And I feel like the way I looked at it was like, we never had that conversation, but it was like, I felt like my job was, okay, I cook, I clean, I take care of the kids. And that's just kind of how I saw it. But now it's like, no, we have a life together and like, we can do all the things together now. It's just a totally different like mindset.
Well, to my defense, I was playing games at night during dinner time, so I couldn't do the dishes so don't make me
should have repped for your job. Whereas
it's not like I was just sitting at the house and not doing anything.
Yes.
No, I mean, but it was like you had to sleep because it's part of your job is to be like recovered. And so it was like, now I'm like,
And the games, the amount of games that y'all play out is insane.
yeah.
The amount of games, it's constant.
She didn't fully understand like what a baseball season was like until she came on the road, or like came full season with me. Even my parents don't like fully understand because you don't get it until you like experience, like, you're in town for 3 days and then you leave after the game at 1 a.m. and you're not getting to the hotel until 4 a.m. and then you sleep and you play that night. And then 3 days later, you do the same thing over again. You fly back home, you see your family for like a week, and then you're back on the road again. And then you get an off day. And then that's your only off day for 3 weeks. And it's like, it's just being able to find like family time and like honestly, just spending quality time together. It's like tough because most of the time I'm exhausted from all the travel and playing. She's exhausted from taking care of 2 kids. So it's like, it's a grind. It's tough.
And then what that's why the title of, the podcast is Founders and Fortitude. And Fortitude, it just constantly, like, with all the hustle and bustle, I feel that word always comes up like every day in my life. Like, just push through it. What is it that, I know that it's mental and I know that it's family that keeps us going. But what is it like that what's a thought or a process that you think about that helps you push? Is it a song that helps you push through? Is it
just want a good life for my family? So when I think things are like getting tough and I don't want to keep going, I kind of think about like my kids and her and think about like, all right, 10 years down the road, like, are we going to be grinding or are we going to be like thriving and like living a good life and enjoying like, Grady hopefully playing sports and Hallie doing whatever the hell she wants to do.
She's going to be running the show.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, I think she might be like a professional eater. I know but
Watch her be a chef. Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what keeps me going is just thinking about the family and what kind of life we want in the coming years.
I feel like with both kids, like sometimes like at night, I feel like just your witching hour with children is like, okay, we got 2 hours to bedtime.
I think that works a little bit longer sometimes.
Yeah. But I feel like you just do it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's an athlete mentality of like, sometimes it really does just suck. Like, yeah, the kids are cranky or you can't figure out what Grady wants or what Hallie wants. And you just have to get through it. Like, there's no other choice. And whether I feel good or you feel good or I'm sick or you're sick, like you still have to just show up and get it done. And then I also feel like we are a family, especially with Grady. He like has to be out and about. Like I thrive with getting the kids out of the house. So like I will do it 9 times out of 10 if I'm like, this isn't working at home, we're gonna go do something, whether it's go to a park, go to the farm, go to an indoor play place. Like if it's raining, go to my parents' house. It's literally just getting the kids out of the house. And like that is truly what gets me through as a mom.
So fitness is clearly like the foundation of you both. I talked about seeing how you work out, and then you were a cycle bar instructor, and then of course your career path. How do you keep that up now, or do you keep it up now?
We do.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I make a joke all the time. I said, the only reason I work out now is so I can look good naked. That's the only reason.
I mean, I won't lie. I mean, I don't think I look great naked, so it's a motivation. I'm like, well, he may not stay around, so I don't at least put the carbs down and walk a little.
No, honestly, we do a good job of like kind of pushing each other because honestly, I see her working out, waking up at 5 a.m. to go to burn or to work out in the gym, and I'm like, oh crap, if she's gonna leave me if I get all this. I gotta keep it up. But honestly, that I still have that like athlete mentality where I'm like, if I don't work out one day, I'm like, oh shit, someone just like passed me. So I'm like, I don't know. That's just the way my mind's kind of wired. Is like I always feel like I need to be doing something, and I love working out. So I feel like we just kind of push each other.
Yeah. It's been 10 years since I was a soccer player, and I still feel like I think that way of like, if I don't work out today, I'm gonna get out of shape, which is not true, and I don't know if that's healthy. But I'm like, I feel like it's also a mental health thing where I feel like I have to have it to be a good parent and a good wife.
Sure.
And
No, that's kind of our little getaway is like, I don't know. Some days I'm like kind of in my own head and I'm like, I'm going to go work out for an hour and I get done with it and do a sauna and I'm like, all right, I feel like a new person. So it kind of gets that.
You burn that energy and anxiety out of you, like that natural, and I don't think, it's not just by what we eat, it's our mental, it's like the desire to achieve. And I had that too. And I recently I always wanted to work out, but I'm just now like letting my business fly because I think it's in seasons, like you're talking about, seasons when your kids are this young and when you're playing this and you're doing that. And now my company's got to where I can let her fly and I can take this time. I don't have to worry about, because at the beginning, every email and every move forward in a business matters. And I couldn't let that go. But now it's like, okay, I'm finding that routine. And I'm finding when I approach things, like my anxiety isn't there because I burnt all that anxiety out because I was trying to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm dying, but it really is mental clarity that you get to burn that. And then you feel great about yourself.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably one of our like biggest priorities for each other is like, I'll never be like, no, you can't work out. Like, I'll give him a hard time. Be like, I've done it. I think I did it last week. I was like, oh, Brian when the kids wake up. But then I'm like, no, go. Like, truly go work out, get it done, and then come back to it all. And it's very much an equal. You do the same for me.
Yeah. No, you let me most of the time.
And I think it sets a great example for our kids.
Totally.
I mean, you can tell by my voice, I grew up very Southern, so it was like, clean your plate, mashed potatoes, gravy, like all the good things. And so, yeah. And I like fried chicken. Like that was my thing. And I just loved it. But I think that sets such an example for your kids because their habits are healthy habits. Mm-hmm. And they put that in a routine where it's kind of you act as what you see. Yeah, and I think that's such a great example and it's supportive for you both, and you see each other do that, and they'll kind of go into that routine with themselves. So how would you feel if your kids wanted to play professional sports?
I mean, I'd be on the table jumping up and down. I mean, I'd be pumped. But at the same time, if they don't want to pursue that, I'm not going to force them to. Like I hope Grady wants to play every single sport, and I'm going to be there to support him no matter what. If he doesn't, then that's fine. Like whatever he wants to do, a musician, wants to just focus on school. I'm all for that. But I'd be ecstatic if he wanted to play a sport. And same with Hallie. Like, I mean, whether it's dance, softball, volleyball, basketball. I mean, we'll see. That's gonna be my goal.
But I feel like it keeps kids so grounded, but also like you were saying, it teaches them life lessons. Where like I would be so annoyed that my soccer coach was like, tuck your shirt in. And I'm like, I don't want to tuck my shirt in. But at the same time, I'm like, no, you're showing up basically for a job. Like, be on time, look the part. Like, I don't know. It teaches them lessons that at the time you're annoyed by. But in the long run, I'm like, being on time is something that I feel like I don't always do with two kids. But I'm fairly good at doing it because of practices and things. Like, if you're on time, you're late. So it's like, be a little bit early. And you're like, 20 minutes early.
I would say 10 minutes early is on time.
Oh, he's like had 20, 30. Yeah. He's like, my appointment's.
Oh, you grew up with my dad. You'll understand.
Well, my daughter's the same way, though.
Oh, my.
I mean, and look, my son went into the military. You could walk in our house. We wake up. We make our beds. It's insane. Like, I didn't force them. It's just they get in that routine. And I 100% agree because I was going to ask what y'all thought about select sports because we live in an area in North Texas where, I mean, we're literally located between FC Dallas, the Star, and then we have all of these select teams where these kids, and my daughter including, like, they play nonstop constantly. It is weekend tournaments. She plays 6 tournaments. I mean, she's on a new team where I'm like, can she not catch every game?
Yeah.
I mean, her body and her back, like it's her knees and her back, and I'm like, she's literally 15 years old and she's icing her knees and her shoulders. And what are your thoughts on select teens right now? Do you think
it's out of control?
I think it is.
I mean, you got parents who are making their kids choose a sport at 9 years old and focus on that the rest of their lives, like they're gonna get burnt out. And I mean, I know I have a bunch of buddies that are in like youth sports coaching in baseball, and I mean they have like 9-year-old teams that are playing like almost 100 games in the spring and fall. And
I'm
I'm like,
guilty.
what are you doing? Like, take your kids to the lake, go on vacation. Like, sports is important, but it's not everything. Like, Grady will not be doing that. He will live a life. He's gonna play every sport that he wants to.
I love to hear that. I'll just maybe I can't wait for that. I'm like, talk about no. But no, I agree. I'm guilty of it. Like my daughter said something because she was playing volleyball, and I was like, oh, like she's not really talented at volleyball. You're gonna hurt yourself and not get to play softball. And I kind of strayed her away from it, and I hate that I did that now. But I was like, it's a guilty thing of like, oh, she's not gonna be the all-star if she does that. She's not gonna be the best player. Well, it's okay that she's not the best player. She just had a blast with all of her friends, And so I love your approach to that because I see that often. Like kids are burnt out, and it's actually now that she's going to high school, her high school coaches are like, you can't play spring select.
Yeah.
You're gonna play for us. So
Crazy.
but it is crazy how many games that they play and do.
It's way too much.
But you are right, though. The routine of it and the expectations it has instilled in her, the respect that she has.
Yeah.
I think that we have done great as parents, but as the different coaching styles and expectations has really, impacted her to be how to act, when she goes in for a job. She wants a job. With our son, he was a littler guy. We moved him to Prosper, and he didn't make the baseball team for the first time in his whole life.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm not going to do that. We're like, well, you have to get a job now because you have to be moving forward. In our minds as parents, you're not going to sit at home and not achieve the next thing.
Yeah.
And so at like 16, he went and got 15 going on 16, he went and got a job.
Oh, I remember seeing him for the first time.
Yeah, you went to the, yes, that's right.
Right where our house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we made him get a job. He didn't need a job.
Yeah.
We knew that, but we still we expected, some type of responsibility out. And maybe we were hard parents. Now that I'm talking to y'all, I'm like, I'm an asshole.
No.
Did you have a job in high school?
I mean, my job was mowing the yard. That was
Not a job.
No, hell no, I didn't have time. I was playing basketball, baseball, and football, and I was on 2 baseball teams and 2 basketball teams. There's times where I had 2 tournaments going on in Tulsa where I'd play basketball game, drive, go play baseball
high
game.
school?
Yeah, sometimes. And then go play another basketball game and then go play a baseball game.
Did you have a job?
I did.
What did you do?
Worked at Sport Clips.
Oh,
I was the receptionist.
oh, really?
Yeah, because we have some good friends that own some in the area, and like all my friends works there. So I was like, well, if you guys are working there, it was during soccer in the winter time. I'd like go to practice and then leave and go work. And let me tell you, the price of $1, I literally would work all week to just pay for my gas,
Yeah.
like to fill up my little tiny car.
I'm trying to teach my daughter, like, this is how much you make an hour. You'll be able to buy, like, give her an example of how much the actual, I'm like, with that 1 hour, you can buy bread and milk. Yep. That's that 1 hour you're working. And
Even that, no.
I'm like, that's all you can buy with that. Like, now look at how when you, oh, Mom, you don't have this or whatever. Like, no, we're not having steak tonight, guys. Like,
Hey, you go buy it.
yeah, you go do it. Let me look at our notes. So what does it look like now moving forward in this part of y'all's lives? Kids, family, being able to be home.
Family's done. I'll tell you that.
Okay. For growing babies.
Yeah.
But it feels good to know, like, now we get to just raise them.
Yeah. No, we're excited to have 2 beautiful, healthy kids. And then, as far as working, hopefully get a job here in the next few months. I've been taking the last 5 or 6 months just to kind of enjoy being home. She wants to start doing something eventually once Hallie's into school and kind of has her routine because I want her to have something for herself that not because she needs a job, but because she wants to do something.
Yeah, and you're great. Yeah, like you have more to put into the world. I think that's the thing about being a mom. It's like, and I loved your approach when he was playing ball. It's like, I don't need to do this. I want to do something.
Yeah, I still feel like I have that little voice in my head, like there's something else to
Yeah,
do.
'cause she's obviously she's really good with social media. She loves the fitness world. She was a cycle bar instructor.
Yeah.
What was the nutrition?
Oh yeah, I'm like totally certified.
Yeah.
True way to fat loss.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I used to do these funny Snapchats to Sam called "Faster Way to Fat Ass," and I would get like the freezer food and like the Tortino's rolls or something like that. And like, oh, we may need to cut out the Tortino's rolls so they don't sue me. Faster Way to Fat Ass. Yeah, big J. But yeah, you do have, you know what? Stay at home dad. You go.
Country
People
club
there.
dad.
There you go. Country club dad. Are y'all in the towns where like you drive the golf cart? We have side by side where like we're in the country, so we have the side by side to get around.
That's one of our next big purchases. Is I keep looking at them online, and I would love to have one of those side by sides. Get a can.
So yeah, we got one.
Yeah.
And it was like the first day we went down to the river, and Jason's family looked at him and like, hey, they're stuck. You're about to get that pretty thing all dirty. So, but it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. It taught our kids how to drive.
Yeah.
You know?
Smart.
Yeah, why not?
That's so cool. And then if there is one piece of advice that you could give to aspiring athletes or those who support athletes, you know, what would that be?
We talked about this the other night. I feel like the biggest thing that comes to my mind is like just show up. Like there's going to be days, and I feel like that same with motherhood and fatherhood, just being a parent is like you have to show up on days that are really hard, and then you get to show up. Like you have the opportunity. There's people who would kill to literally just be able to be an athlete or go running or do something athletic that they can't do. I'm like, it's such a blessing to be able to be an athlete, to have the opportunity to play a sport. And I don't know, that was what came to my mind when we talked about it.
Yeah, anyone can show up on the days that you feel good, you're healthy, you want to do this. It's the days that, you know, you're kind of like, oh man, it's cold outside. I don't want to go work. Like those are the days that you're going to separate yourself from the pack. And
What did you say? Hard work beats talent any day.
yeah,
That's what you said.
yeah, hard work beats talent.
Any day. I believe it. We talk about that all of the time in our family. I wasn't, you know, we weren't born in a certain type of, you know, we were born in humble beginnings. We have to work for everything we have in our house, you know?
Yeah.
And some people, you know, are born in different beginnings.
Yeah.
And they build it on to something else. I feel like it's what you do with where you are.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's like pushing through. It's like with our company here, we don't do brain surgery. Like, it's okay. Everybody breathe. Yeah. We're not going to be perfect every day. And to not be so hard on ourselves. I wish that came more easier, though.
Yeah.
I said that too. Like, I just feel like my time in college, I wish I had done that exactly, is just take a breath and enjoyed being with the people that I got to be with every single day, not taken so seriously what the coaches thought of me as a player. And I feel like that would have gotten me further in soccer if I had maybe kind of like brushed that under the rug and kept going.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing a sport.
Yeah.
Like it's a game. It doesn't define you whether you go 4 for 4 or 0 for 4. Like that's not who you are as a human being. And honestly, that was one of the things that was really tough for me was if I went 0 for 4, I would think everyone was like, oh, I hate him. He sucks. Like that's kind of how my brain worked. And as the older I got, I kind of learned to have the like kind of don't give a shit attitude. Where it's like, I don't really give a crap if you think I'm a good player or not. I know what I am, and like this one day doesn't define me. So it's like just go out there, have fun, and you know, play your hardest, and whatever happens, and you can address it at the end.
Because the people that love you, I mean, like your mom's like, oh, you went 0 for 4? Great. How are you? How are your kid? Like, or you went 4. Nobody, the people that matter in your life. I think I saw a golfer, like he won the championship, and they're like, what does your family and friends think? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just so big. They don't care. Like, because they don't care.
Yeah.
And we talk about, we don't show up at our friend's job, that has like an office job. And so I was trying to like, yes, why's your nice way to type that? You're the highlight. So if you're ripped it, like they don't care. As much as you love them and that they have a great job, you ultimately don't give a shit that you typed that really well, dude. Damn.
Well, the sports world is so like results based that you kind of get wrapped up in it, where it's like that's all you focus on is like the result. And in baseball, it's a failure sport. Like you fail or you succeed 3 times out of 10, and you're going to be a Hall of Famer. So you're failing 7 times. Like if you can learn to fail and handle it and adjust, like you're going to take off. Like that's the biggest advice I can give is learn how to fail, and then you'll succeed.
I think that's the best advice ever, because if you look at anyone in business, I think we always think like, oh, if I have this business and I get this and I do this, like, oh, I can just, no, there's always something that you have to fix, change, learn from every single day in business and in sports and in life. Like it is being okay with failure and learning to just be okay with it and being good from it. And
I think there's also something to be said for you're not going to be every coach's cup of tea. And that's something I also learned in college of like, he didn't like me as a player. And I can confidently say that because I know that, and that's okay. Like, I wish you kind of take a step back and realize like, I can be a good player even though he doesn't. I can still show up. I can still work my butt off on the field, and it may not matter to him, but I can at least hang my hat on the fact that like every single day I chose to show up and be there when I could have quit. When people did quit, it was like, no, I chose to be an athlete. I'm going to choose to stay and like power through, even if he doesn't like me.
Because it's for yourself, not for him. You didn't need his approval. You need your own approval. I think that's a attack. Like it's okay that someone doesn't like our company or how we do it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. I know it's or that we put in it, like, nope, we aren't like that company, like that's okay. So I love it. I think the great thing is you'll see when your kids get older, and I see that now, the conversations that we had with our own parents when they're like, don't do this, or something happens, you're being equipped to support your kids. Yeah. And when she faces that or he faces that, and those things with coaches and teachers and friends, and I think right now with my kids, like Scarlett being 16, it's really hyper focused on friends.
Yeah.
When we think like our lives are over in high school. Yeah. And how we support them. And the conversations that we had, everything that y'all are going through right now within sports, you'll be able to support them in a way and talk them through it. Yeah. To make them make their own choices, but kind of lead them in a path that maybe we weren't equipped for, and now we can them. Yeah. To lighten it up a little bit, who's the most competitive? What do you guys? What's a thing that y'all do? Like, do y'all have family game? What is it like? Is a funny thing about you guys?
I don't know. I don't think we're allowed to play games together. I think if we played, like, had weekly game nights, I think we might be divorced.
Yeah, we could ask when we
every time she gets sassy. I'm perfect, and
I'm perfect. Sassy.
But I just don't like to lose.
Yeah, so. Honestly, she's pretty damn competitive, which is I like it. I like that she's competitive, but so am I.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And you golf?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is the worst sport ever. I have never cuffed so much in my life.
I don't like it because I'm not good at it.
Yes. Right?
You go do your thing. I'll sit in the cart and have a beer.
Yeah. Well, I told someone because they had this big foundation and Do It for Durit, and they were doing like this golf tournament. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, we need to do this next year because I always do like a sponsorship or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, well, you can have a 4-man team. I don't know what golf.
4-man scramble.
There you go. And I was like, well, I can drive. Well, my friend thought I was like, I can drive. No, I meant to drive the golf cart while y'all do this. No, they actually gave us like different tickets, and we went to the concert part instead. But next year I want to do it. I don't know.
I'll play, what's the ladies' team?
Yeah, the ladies' team.
I'll play at the one above that. So
she could be good if she wanted to play.
Well, the thing about this tournament is you do like ski shots at each hole.
What does that mean?
Like they get the ski shots where they put tequila shots in the skis, and all of like your 4-man scramble people like take a shot per.
Oh, I could like.
Yeah. My game gets better after shots.
I mean mine. I don't know.
Bye.
Yeah.
Better if you're falling off.
So that's what I'm marking up towards. So maybe we can
Yeah.
do that. That'll be so fun.
Yeah.
If y'all want to laugh at somebody.
Owning it.
If you both could relive something and your experiences together, whether it be personal baseball, what would it be?
So I feel like your baseball experience, I'd want to relive it with you. That
Yeah.
was the best year ever.
Were you all together with this? You were with him?
We were together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
we were like getting the Mets.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my like first taste of not professional baseball, big league, the MLB was playoffs. So it was 2015. I was in AAA all year.
I had just graduated college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going home for the off season. I get a call from our farm director, and he's like, "Hey, as you know, the team's making the playoffs. We want you to be on the taxi squad. So we want you to come to Florida, stay ready. If someone gets hurt, like there's a chance that you'll get called up." I'm like, "All right, no one's gonna get hurt. Like I'm just gonna go down there." Ruben Tejada ends up breaking his leg. I get called the next day. Didn't sleep at all that night. The next
I was
day,
gonna say, is that one of those things?
I was out at the bars. I seriously was out at the bars all.
Is it one of those things where you're like, oh, that sucks for you. Oh shit. This.
We're in-
Oh shit.
there was
I was literally
five of us.
walking with my
5 or 6 of us on the taxi squad, and we're sitting in the lobby of the hotel watching the game, drinking beers, and we see Ruben break his leg, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, like I hope he's okay." And then my buddy Logan, he looks at me and he's like, "Dude, you're going to the big leagues." And I was like, "Oh shit, I got to sober up."
I was seriously, I will never forget. I was walking from a bar to a different bar down in Dallas, and you were texting me like, "I think I'm gonna get called up," and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with my hands?
What? Do I need to sober up? I don't know what to do."
So I went back to my hotel room, didn't sleep that whole night because I didn't know when they're gonna call. We get a call at like 9 a.m. and they're like, "Hey, you're coming to New York. You'll be activated for the playoffs against the Dodgers." So I hop on a flight that night. I'm in New York. Yeah, we end up going to the World Series that year. So my first taste was NLDS, NLCS, World Series. And
That's epic.
I made it to the playoffs one more time in the rest of my career, and we only made it to the wild card game. So like at that point, I was like, "Oh man, World Series, cool! Like gonna do this every year." And then you look back and you're like,
rare it was.
"Wow, this is something like extremely special." Like there's players that, have 15-year big league careers who never made it to a World Series, and I got to experience in my first month in the big leagues. So.
And who is there? Anyone that like who was the most impactful, or who did you meet that is like, or like anybody like as far as in the big leagues that you met that was everything you wanted them to be, or maybe not? I say don't put on and it goes viral. Don't put anybody on blast, but
There was,
they say never meet your heroes.
I mean, I think it depends on who your hero is. I mean,
You really liked how what's his name treated everyone. He like bought you a really nice job. It was
Jay Bruce was.
yeah. You really talked.
I mean,
about how
he was awesome. That guy's an unbelievable player. And like I still talk to him to this day. And like I was a rookie. He takes me shopping. Like he took me out to dinner. We'd hang out. Like he had no reason talking to me because I was a rookie, but he like instilled this friendship. And he was when I was hanging out with him the whole time, I'd be like, man, if I ever get lucky enough to be in like his position, this is how I want to act and treat, the young guys. And he was one of the guys. Another guy was Curtis Granderson. Like you would never know if that guy hit 4 home runs or struck out 4 times.
Yeah.
And like just his attitude towards life, baseball. I mean, the happiest guy you'd ever meet. And I'm like how the hell? How is he like this?
Yes.
I was like, I always asked him, I was like, were you like this before like you signed your big contract? And he was like, yeah, I've always been like this, like just playing baseball. I'm like,
How do they get their minds like that? Yeah, that's so crazy. Were you, was anybody, as far as like the wives and all of that, did they impact you? Did you learn on how they kind of navigated it?
Yeah, I met one of my best friends was his teammate's wife, and she basically lived with them for
So pretty much, he was the Plawecki's. Kevin Plawecki was my best man, and was
she was a bridesmaid in one of my weddings.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's water. Cheers to that. It's water.
She was a bridesmaid. She was a bridesmaid, but I feel like I was just a girlfriend and she was a fiance, which I look back now and it's like, that was the goal, was like you wanted to be married to the guy you were dating, to the player you were dating, but she was just so kind and not only like took me in and just was such a good friend. Like she just understood the life. She understood the heartache of it, the challenges, but also like the really exciting and awesome things that some people don't get they just don't understand. Like, you can't call one of my best friends and be like, oh, Matt got called up when like they don't know anything about baseball.
Yes.
Whereas like with her, she understood, or, oh, Matt went 0 for 4 and like, it's been a tough night. And just, I get it. Like give him she just give advice about things that other people.
Your average person doesn't
understand
that. Yes.
And she is just like the most non-judgmental person I feel like I've ever met. So I could always go with things that I'm like, this is probably so dumb, or you're going to judge me for this. And she just never did. And
I mean, to give you perspective of Taylor, we're in Binghamton, New York. It's AA. We're living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 guys, and she's living with us full time. And
Looks like she tough and
say he took care of me, but also like took care of him.
you knew that he was okay because of her.
Totally.
They gave you peace.
and that was kind of when we first started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, Taylor's like one of my like best girlfriends. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And she set a precedent for like how you should treat anyone,
Yeah.
like especially in baseball, because it's like girls would come and go, like that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Not in a
Bad bye.
way.
No,
Like they'd come and go, and I feel like I just always treated everyone like, you're new here, that it can suck to be new. Welcome.
honestly, I would, when I would go to a new team, I'd honestly stress out more about her and hoping she like got along with the girls more than like I would stress out about me playing well.
Yeah.
Right. Cause it eases your mind when, you're at the game and you're like, all right, Sam's got her friends up there. She's happy. Or like we've had some teams where it's like we didn't have very many like Americans on the team. They're mostly Latin players, and she would have like
Really speak.
they don't speak English, so she'd be kind of sitting up there by herself, and I'm like, oh man, like probably need to get out of here instead of having this 3rd beer in the locker room.
But I think that's so important, and that's why I wanted you guys here, because it's that foundational piece of no matter what career you have, or it's really supporting each other. And I think it's important to see like there's seasons, there's, if she wasn't grounded, like you said, your mind would go there.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't grounded, your mind would always be there.
Yeah.
That things were, and then same with him, and then having friends that support you and parents that support you. It's that, it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so important to highlight of, finding those right people and sticking with each other in those seasons, because now, like you said, you're soaking it all up.
Yeah.
All the hard work that you've done paid off. And now there comes a new type. I keep saying new season. You're like, what? I've already finished this. But like, I think it's so great to see you guys, take that next part.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you opening up and sharing those things that I know it's not always easy to share, but out there it will help and impact someone that's going through that season and experiencing what you guys have experienced. So thank you for sharing.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having
Well, thank you. Well, cheers to our water. Maybe we'll have real drinks today.
me. Some spicy margs.
Our favorite quote this week is sponsored by 80 Media Group, a monetized marketing firm that helps enhance your online presence. And if you stop, your business doesn't. You can find AD Media Group online at admediagroupllc.com. Our favorite quote for this week is, and I think aligns so well with our conversation that we had with Samantha and Matt, is from Derek Jeter. There may be people who have more talent than you, but there's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do. This quote to me embodies the drive, dedication required both on and off the field in building a successful business. I have never come by things easy, whether it's my body, my health, financially. I've always had to work hard, and I feel like that's what sports does for me. I feel like sports has given me the foundation, the drive. And if you can kind of remember the quote from last episode, we spoke about it's easy to like someone that makes life easy, but it's hard to have respect and like the people that pull the best out of you. And I think that's what coaches do. So I'll say it one more time. In the words of Derek Jeter, there may be people who have more talent than you, but there's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do. Sometimes, friends, it doesn't come easy. If you want it, you've got to have the fortitude and the drive to keep going, even when it's not sunshine and rainbows. You got this. Now we're at the segment of going over to our 3 from me, and I got 3 things from Samantha. As you guys know, she was talking about health and fitness, and she was a cycle bar coach. I'm going to share with you, and you can find these things from our founders' favorites to our sponsors and to the 3 from me. You can find all of this in our show notes, and it'll be linked for you. But every week, we're going to bring to you on every podcast 3 from me that can help you in your business or your everyday life. And Sam was sharing with me that they use their at-home, and it's called a sauna box. And so it's really, really neat. We'll have that link for you. And then she does burn boot camp. I need to look into that. And she said if she can't do burn boot camp, her last one would be she uses Madeline Moves to work out at home. So we'll link that for you. And then she said, as far as like recipes, she's a huge believer in Pinterest and TikTok recipes. And that's like her time where she pulls some great recipes. But Sauna Box, Burn Boot Camp, and Madeline Moves, we will put those in our 3 from me this week, and make sure that you check those out. Again, you guys, I cannot thank you enough joining us today, listening to this conversation. Please give us a fabulous 5-star review and tell us what you are loving, what you use. I hope you are finding and connecting with us. Follow at audriedollins.com or on Instagram, Audrey Dollins, and all the social media outlets. And then, of course, you can follow AD Media Group at ADMEDIGRP on Instagram, and you will find our latest episodes there. And as always, you got this. Keep going. Capture, brand, and engage, and let's do big things.